Good morning, everybody. I'm Megan. I am from the Wellness Umbrella. It's about quarter after 10. I'm super excited. I was on last week. We had Valentine's Day. Jocelyn was going to join, but then she was total momming it. And so I kind of just talked a little bit about what Valentine's Day really means, and it's kind of all about inclusion and just including people and making people feel loved and appreciated. It's not even when it comes to like buying gifts and all that stuff. So we were going to talk about this epic topic, but now we've moved it to today. We're going to be talking about law of attraction, power of thought, and just having all of that faith. So I'm just waiting here for her to hop on here. She's calling in from Fernie. So I know that law of attraction, energy, spiritual stuff, I know that is really, really hitting the streets these days. You can really find it all over Instagram and all this kind of stuff. And I remember when The Secret came out, and I can't remember how old I was, but I remember it created a real big tug of war in my household. And because the reason was that my family was very religious. It was church all the time. It was by the Bible. It was God, Jesus, and that was it. And I remember being told that God has a cup, and when you prayed, your prayer went into this cup, and then when the cup was full, you just like it emptied, and then God would answer your prayers. And I remember praying and praying and praying, praying and praying and praying and praying, and nothing happened. And then this book came out called The Secret. And it was just this massive tug of war between faith in God and faith in the power of thought, and under learning that, they're kind of the same thing, but not the same thing. One thing you're just really like placing a name, you're putting a certain name over top of the power of thought, where what The Secret was just trying to say is that believe in yourself and believe in the power of thought and things will come. And I remember like talking about this with my parents. I really like couldn't understand why my parents were so like no to this and blah 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 blah, but it was really just because of their fear of something new. And I think we can all have this, and and maybe even parents too. It's the idea of being scared of the unknown and having your kids question your authority over what they are talking about or what they believe. And I know the whole kind of world is changing and stuff like that. Like we have transgender bathrooms and all. The world is changing. But back when I was growing up, when I was a kid, my parents were scared of the unknown. They were scared of being challenged, and even to this day, I think so many people are going to be scared of change and the unknown. So Jocelyn's just on here now. I'm going to add her to the conversation. Let's see. Thank you. Yes, and as soon as I get this little thing going, we will be chatting even more. Why, Jay? Why does this happen every single time? You can't go live with me right now. How come? This is so fun. I feel like every time we do this, Jay, there's like some issue of why you can't go live with me. So hang tight, everybody. Okay. Power of thought. I'm putting power of thought to bring Jocelyn into the conversation, and just like that, power of thought. It's saying adding. We did it. Adding. I'm connecting. Power of thought.
There we go. It works.
It works, guys. Done. Conversation ended. Power of thought. Things will appear. How are you?
I'm pretty good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm so stoked for this conversation with you. So I'm really glad that I just didn't dive into it at all last week or anything like that. Um, So little recap, anybody who's just like tuning in and saw that kerfuffle and didn't want to watch, I hope you come back. Because we're talking about power of thought, having faith, and law of attraction, and just kind of fully believing in yourself. And I feel like we're at a beautiful time. Jocelyn is doing something freaking fantastic in the next couple of weeks, and I love social media because I get to keep up with her without actually really talking to her sometimes, and it makes me so excited. And so I hope you guys have those people like that too. And I am kind of going through something as well where it's like power of thought and faith and belief and stuff. So I am starting from the top. If you're just tuning in, I think we're calling this the Wellness Mamas or random chats with us. And it's super fun. And today we're talking about law of attraction. And at the end of it, we have a really fun question to ask each other because why not? Um, so let's just dive in. Jay, tell us your fun thing that's happening in the next bit.
Oh, the thing in Jaffrey, you mean?
Yes. Yes.
Well, awesome. Okay. It's a yoga and wellness retreat in the Kootenays in Jaffrey, little town Jaffrey. I'm so excited for it because it's like I feel like things happen in the Kootenays, but I've never really, yeah, it's gonna be awesome. But anyway, it's like wellness, essential oils. You learn how to incorporate the oils into different aspects and use oils for emotional health and all things, like even as far as like cooking with essential oils, there's like it's a whole kind of like a lifestyle retreat kind of thing. And then we incorporate the yoga, of course. So we have daily yoga. It's an overnight retreat in Jaffrey, and yeah, it's going to be lots of fun. And then there's actually an aroma touch training right after on the Sunday. And aroma touch is like it's like a clinical approach of applying 8 different essential oils through like different areas of the body. Yeah, I'm excited Corey is going to join us. So
Amazing.
yeah, it's so awesome. And like the aroma touch is something that you can offer to anybody you care about, right? It's not, you don't have to be a practitioner of any way, like any shape or form or whatever. It's literally, you're like, oh, my partner's not feeling well, or my kids need a little bit of a support, like emotionally, or even physically,
Yeah.
immune boosting and things like that. You can apply these oils, and this is what you learn in the certification. You apply these oils in a specific way to really support all the systems in the body, which is really awesome. I'm excited to learn it.
I'm so excited for you, and I'm so sad that I'm not going to be able to make it because law of attraction is getting out of debt. And that's what I'm calling it to make myself feel better. I'm lying of the attraction to get out of debt. Um, so it just was not in my line of sight this round. So I really, really hope that you did this more. And it's really cool because when I was first kind of figuring out what in the heck I wanted to do, after my mat leave ended, I finished all my like online courses for health and nutrition and such, and fell in love with yoga. And then I started researching, and I learned that people are now taking wellness vacations. And there's now these like amazing wellness retreats popping up all over where people go and they're like, I'm going on a wellness vacation. And I'm like, that sounds so beautiful. Like I want to go on a wellness vacation. And the fact that you're doing it and you're going to be teaching it is like so wickedly amazing. Um, and I think also too for any parent out there, we're both mamas. One thing to always know is that sure, Jocelyn is killing it on one side, and maybe you're like just starting out, or maybe like me, where you're kind of in the middle. We all started somewhere. We started, I call it the ABCs of life. and it goes directly into law of attraction. It's like you start at A, but to learn how to get to Z, you got to go all the way through the steps. So never watch this and think that we've got it all together. Half the time we don't, and we all just started at the same place. And it's all just about supporting each other and having faith. um, so something super fun. I didn't write my questions down, and I don't. My laptop's broken, so I'm going off of sheer half memory of the questions I asked. So I know that in one of my questions, it was like, "What is law of attraction?" um, so what do you think it is, Jay?
It's basically like, well, this is, my perspective and my analogy of it. It's like we are living in a vibrational frequency, right? We determine our vibrational frequency. We kind of we can create our reality via our kind of vibrational frequency. So, law of attraction is if we are in the vibration of, for example, being in debt or having this like conditioning that we are, from our parents or from generations or just like our social
Hmm.
circles, because we are like the average of the 5 people we surround ourselves with. If we are in the vibrational frequency of thinking that this is our life and that's it, I'm gonna be in debt, like I'm not worthy of going on a wellness vacation or whatever, um,
Yeah.
then you are attracting more of that into your life. Another piece of that with the law of attraction is like, say you really wanted something, like you're like, oh, I want $5,000 in my bank account, and you're always looking towards like, oh, but I don't have it, like I really want it but I don't, and like it's so crap, I don't have it, and like you're in the vibrational frequency of not receiving it. You're in the vibrational frequency of receiving more of nothing, of more lack,
Yeah.
of more like more reaffirming that you are not having $5,000 in your bank account. So the law of attraction, the secret to the law of attraction or whatever, and manifesting is to be in the vibrational alignment with what you want to attract. If you want to have $5,000 in your bank account, you have to feel into what is it going to feel like when you have $5,000 in your bank account. Like, and then you have
Hmm.
to stay in that vibration. It said it's like 17 seconds or something, that it takes the mind to kind of, you think a thought, if you can hold it for 17 seconds, you think another thought and it kind of snowballs. So saying that
Yeah.
on like the negative side of things is like you are, in that lack vibration and that lower frequency vibration of receiving like more negativity or more like toxic relationships or whatever it is.
Yeah.
You're going to keep doing that, and like as long as you keep in that momentum, the momentum builds and one thought thinks another and you're like going down a rabbit hole, right?
Yeah.
But the good part is that you can actually just shift
You can
your
change it.
brain like
Yeah.
that and then kind of take a hard right kind of thing. But that's not always easy, right? And that's when things like EFT, your tapping, your affirmations, your meditations, your visualizations, that's going to assist you in reprogramming the subconscious and getting past those limiting beliefs and into like the vibrational frequency of where you want to be in order
The
to,
positive vibrations. Yeah.
yeah, be in the receiving mode to receive it. So it's a little run
Yeah.
through.
Yeah. And 100%. And for anybody who is watching that and you're just like, oh my gosh, frequency, vibration, what it buzzing, blah, blah, blah. Like this 100% makes sense to me because I know exactly what she's talking about. But if you're a person that have absolutely like just starting to get on this train and you kind of don't know energy, frequency, and all that stuff. The snowball effect is basically just envisioning a snowball. You make it really small. And then when it picks up the speed and the momentum, it's like going down the hill and getting bigger and bigger. And then just take that effect and think of it in your day. We all have bad days. We get out of bed and sometimes we just have a bad day. And what Jocelyn is saying about vibration and frequency is if we decide to stay in the same path of I'm having a bad day, I'm having a bad day, this day is not going to get better, you are just going to attract more shit.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically what she's saying. But if you get out of that sweat and be like, okay, this is not a bad day, I'm having a bad moment. Now, how do I get out of that moment, you're going to start attracting good things. And
Mhm.
this is where it's so important, I think. I keep spinning on my chair because I'm fidgeting. Like, this is where it's really important to have positive people in your life to help you get out of these bad moments. Like, I will text my partner and be like, I need an uplifting message. And he will send me an uplifting message. And those are the people that you want. Reach out to somebody is an amazing way to get out of those moments because it is hard to get out of those moments. I can totally vouch for that. I crashed 2 times. And like the last, I've been calling it an extremely long January. I crashed 2 times, but because I am surrounded and continue to surround myself with positive people, they have been able to help me keep going and keep out. Um, and I know right now we're in a huge drug pandemic, and I know a lot of people are in that snowball effect of I'm sad, I'll use, I'm sad, I'll use, I'm sad, I'll use, and it is really hard for them to break out of that. And so that is what we're talking about when we talk about frequency, energy, negative, and attract. The
Totally.
snowball effect.
Totally.
So um, and so let's kind of going back to why I wanted Jocelyn to talk about her wellness retreat that she's doing is really the power of thought and taking opportunity and realizing that this is like these are all little tiny gifts. And I don't know, Jay, was this something in your line of sight to like be a part of to do?
Yeah, totally. Like I love facilitating things. And you know when you're I don't know, this is me if like if I go to an event or if I go to some sort of something, I'm like I want to be behind the scenes. Like I want to be the building blocks to this thing.
Yeah,
So it's just me.
yeah,
I'd rather facilitate than take part in things sometimes. I like
yeah,
just have that like almost like leader mentality where I want to be in charge, but I don't want to like
yeah.
yeah, I'm like whatever that means. But yeah, no. So, um, yeah, I've always, I've taught yoga for a long time, same as you. I've always wanted to do workshops, and I was like, well, the opportunity just came up where randomly a friend was like, well, I have this beautiful chalet, like, why don't we do a workshop together? And yeah, I was like, well, works out
It
great.
just happened. Yeah. And that's just getting luck of the draw. Sometimes that totally happens, but it's also like living in that space. Jocelyn's lived in that space. She's coaches, she teaches, she does all these things, and just these people just come, and you just attract people that want to do these things too. Um, so what was another thing that I have on that list, that sheet?
How do you start the process of LOA? Why is it important to be
Yeah, that was it.
mindful?
Yeah, that's a good question. I like that one. Let's talk there. Let's break it down. Okay, so if you are at the end of your alphabet, you have totally understood the idea of where the heck do you start. If you're in the middle of the alphabet, you probably are wondering, how do I restart again? And I don't want to. I sometimes restart my LOA thoughts like all the time because it just happens. Um, how do you start? I feel like it's so easy to do, but really hard to do at the same time. Um, I like, for example, I'm reading this book right now, written like it's a finance book for written in a boss woman's terms, and I love it, and I think everybody should read it because she's hilarious and Canadian, lives in Calgary. She's been in like poverty state. She's worked for to get to where she is. She's been on Oprah. Her uh, her houses have been in multiple tiny homes on a budget magazine stuff. Like she's a real deal. And she wrote down in one of her things, finding your bottom line is so important. And I recently found my bottom line in a whole bunch of areas in my life. And now I feel like I'm ready to start. So I don't know about you, Jay, but I feel like sometimes you have to like get a little into your pain in order to come out of it. I don't know if you feel like that. I sometimes feel like you just gotta
Yeah,
you gotta
totally.
kind of hit. hit rock bottom to move up.
Totally. Like that's the thing with EFT and tapping. It's like you are literally tapping into the pain because that's the
Yeah.
way that you shift. I'm not sure. Are you familiar with EFT, Megan? Have you ever done tapping?
I'm I have not actually. Like I'm
It's
actually
pretty
not.
cool. So basically, it's like it's better experienced than explained. But I have a really good friend named Jackie McDonald. She's like the tapping queen. Okay, there's a lot of tapping all over the internet and things that I kind of find it doesn't relate to me. But Jackie's like all over that. You can just Facebook Jackie McDonald. She's amazing. Um,
Okay.
but anyway, she like it's basically like tapping. Oh, hey, Anise. Anise knows tapping. EFT is like you're starting with your like when you have so say you were like we'll go back to the $5,000. I have $5,000 in my bank account. And you write that down, your subconscious is like, no, you don't, right? Like, and then you listen to that subconscious mind and write those negative thoughts down. You're like, I'm not worthy. Like, what's coming up? Like, I don't have the time, or I don't like I don't deserve $5,000 or I cannot physically get $5,000 and then like keep decoding it is really cool what comes up out of your brain. And then when you're doing your
Hmm.
tapping, you do like these, I can't remember the specific like terms, but you do like these different rounds where you start in the beginning, you're like, you start tapping on the side of your hand and you're I like, maybe I don't believe that I have, or no, it's like, um, I don't have $5,000 in my bank account, like, or whatever, and that's okay. I completely love and accept myself anyway. Like, and just like going through it, like, I don't deserve $5,000. Like,
Yeah.
where's this money even gonna come
Yeah.
from? Like, and you go through it like
Yeah.
that, and that is shifting the subconscious brain into just letting it and kind of release out. And then you do a second round and a third round
Hmm.
even of like the positive piece. So like kind of like reaffirming like I am worthy of $5,000 and I'm open and ready to receive this. You know, it's coming from
Yeah.
unexpected places and whatever, but it's like that's a way because yeah, shifting these like subconscious beliefs and like limiting mindset stuff is like a big deal. And
Hmm.
like you mentioned before, like if I had to say like where do you start? It's like you start taking a look at where you are. Like, oh, awesome, Coralie, that's sweet. You might know Jackie McDonald then. She says, I'm a certified EFT practitioner. That's awesome.
Oh yeah,
Um,
no, I do see that. Yeah.
Sweet. So maybe where you start is taking a look at your social circles. You take a look at your
Hmm.
surroundings because it's almost the point of like you need to upgrade your surroundings into that place that you want to be. Taking
Hmm.
yourself on these Jackie, actually, I'm going to quote Jackie again. She's a babe. So um, she creates these soul expanding wildly wealthy women retreats where she literally takes you on these retreats into a little glimpse and shows you a little glimpse into your wildly wealthy woman, like whatever she would be
Yeah.
like maybe that's not, maybe in your mind even just hearing wildly wealthy woman you have those blocks into like, oh well, I don't want to be wildly wealthy,
Yeah.
but take a
Can I just
second.
pause you for 2 seconds there? Hold on. I
Yeah.
just because you said something that is so real. Okay. We create our own blocks on what we think we're okay with and
Mm-hmm.
what we think we deserve. And it's so real. So I don't know if anybody knows the show. It's called Shameless. And I was watching they're on their eighth season. And anyways, the daughter meets this guy or whatnot, and she was like, and he asked her, "What do you want to do?" And she was like, "Well, I would love to travel. I've never traveled. All I do is take care of my kids." And he's like, "Great." Or her siblings, and he was like, "Great, let's get on a plane." And he's like, and she looked and goes, "What? I can't do that." Um, and he looked at her and he was like, "Why not?" He's like, well, you know? And then she started listing off everything that she felt she needed to do for her siblings. And he just looked at her and was like, none of this is your own issue, you know? Like and it's the idea of what he was basically saying and what Jocelyn was saying is that like we create our own stupid blocks that don't allow us to get further, you know? Like that. And anyways, I heard you say that and I was like, dude, that is so real. We are our own worst enemies. I
Totally.
don't deserve this. I don't get this. You know, and I was reading this book about law of attraction and you know, the guy said to write down what you want to do. What if you could do absolutely anything in the world, what would you do? And so I wrote it down. And then he was like, okay, now what's your second thought? Write it down. And instantly I wrote down, how am I going to do this?
Yeah.
I'm like, wow. I'm like, there was no, it was literally, if you could do anything in the world, what could you do? And then the next thought was, how in the world am I going to do this? It's
Mhm.
not dreaming this beautiful state. It's all of a sudden making a block of, I don't know how to do this. But nobody said, okay, give me your money. That person literally just said, if you could do anything, what would you do? Um, so yeah, blocks. They're the
Yeah.
worst. They're
Yeah.
horrible.
Totally. How, like, the piece of like you being like, how do I do this is good though, because that's like questioning, and then you're like, okay, then you can like
hmm
set a thing or whatever. But yeah,
hmm
totally. Like
You
we
definitely
create our
we
own.
need to know like how to do it. Like that's you definitely to break things down, to break your bigger dream down. But we also need to remember that we need to dream big. I
Mhm.
think, that's really important. We need to, what would you do if you could do anything in the world? And just let yourself dream that for a bit. And then I think it definitely then it's important to be like, okay, how do
Yeah.
I get there? Um,
That's so
I really want to
like
hear more of the tapping thing. Sorry.
it's oh, what was I gonna say? There's It's so awesome because once you are like, how am I gonna get there? That's the piece of like some of us try to like hold on to it a little bit or like control a little bit too much, myself included. I'm like fast paced, everything's like go go go, but I'm like, okay, I'm doing this and I'm gonna do it like action. Whereas like I should sometimes I don't take the time I need. I'm getting more in the practice of doing that, but sitting down and being like, okay, I'm ready to receive. Like I'm in
Yeah.
receiving mode. I'm receiving the things. You know what I mean? Instead of
Yeah.
just like always like, oh, like but how, but how, but how. It's like no, you get in the vibrational frequency of that thing, and then watch
Yeah.
life unfold. Do the work surround yourself with like-minded, positive people, like you said, and
hmm
seriously treat yourself as if you're already there. You're like
There.
you're
Yeah.
you're whatever holistic nutrition person, whatever like that is that you want to be in whatever that is you wrote down. It's like how would she act? Where would she go? What would she do? Would she go for like a massage? Would she do these things? Because then that's like whatever makes you feel abundant and like
Yeah.
in that abundant flow of energy, that's where you want to stay, and that's where you want to like stay as long as you possibly can so that you can
Yeah.
start recreating your normal,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. And um, I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna go with a lot of people think that they need money in order to do these things. I'm in a major budget. I don't care to say it. Let's be real. I think we all live in some kind of a budget, and the idea of how am I going to afford this comes up. And just like Jocelyn said, we need to live in the world of how would this certain person live. And there are things that you can do on a budget and still feel that amazing. So for example, just yesterday, real life, I just got out of a meeting with Adam about our erotica art book, and it was a gorgeous day. And I was like, okay, I want to think about this book, and we're coming around this massive bend. And so I decided I was going to go on a manifest quest. And I put my tunes in. I found some good music. I hit up my friend Lauren. She just opened up a yoga shop here. It's been her dream for a while. She's also someone who got me really into yoga, who really, I was like, oh, I get yoga now. So I went to go by her place and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so gorgeous. I gave her a hug and I just felt this amazing energy feeling of, I made this happen, you can make this happen. And then I went to chapters and I just stood around and I just stood and went, what would it be? How would I feel if I saw my book right here? Just right here. And I took that and I looked around and like I just stood there and was like, ooh, and took it all in. And then I went to the Casa, which is an art studio, and I just imagined what would it be like if I saw my pictures on display here. And I just reveled in that. And then I left and I went back and I just like, I went on with my day and I just felt amazing. And that's some things that you can do. All of that, guys, cost me $0 to go hug a friend, to go see some books, to go see some art. It all cost me $0. And the lines of you're like, well, I can't spend $100 on a massage. Do a trade-sees with a friend. Um, could it be the world's best massage? I don't know, but could it be free? Yeah. There, and this is in the book that I'm reading for, boss women, empowerment, getting what you want, dreaming for what you want, getting out of debt, all that kind of stuff. She literally lent off a bunch of a list of things that you can do that still makes you feel wonderful and well and in that moment that you can do on a budget. And so that's all manifesting. And it's taking the idea that you can't do it and making a way. I have this shirt that I got at South Country Fair, and it says, if there is no way, we will make a way. And we will step on anyone that gets in our way. It's some cheap, like, hippie. Pretty sure it has, like, cut tassels on it and tie-dye. Total hippie. But it's just, like, so true. If you want to make a way, you'll make a way. And you'll step on anyone that gets in your way. And I don't know, maybe that's where some pain comes from. You're going to be leaving old friends behind. I don't have a lot of friends. Jocelyn's my friend, and I see her more like this than in real life. Kind of sucks, but at the same time, I know I'm making my way for life. And Jocelyn, I'm sure you can pretty much feel the same way, right? At home with your kids and working and stuff. It's like you just make it happen, and you live in your life, and you feel good. I'm just looking at the time here. I've got this awesome glare on the clock. Okay, 10:44. Amazing. Let's wrap it up with the fun question. Okay, so we realized the last show that Jocelyn and I are same, but so different. So the last show I asked Jocelyn if you could, if somebody could say one thing about you and you could hear it, like if you died, what would it be? And I think you said kindness or something. What did you say?
Unique, I think.
Oh yeah, unique. And then I said batshit crazy. So today's ending question is, if you could be any planet, what would you be and why?
Do you want to ask me first, or are you going first?
Yeah.
Me first, okay. I don't know. I'd say the moon. The moon.
The moon? And why?
It's almost like, well, the moon is in charge of so much on the earth, like the tides, all the emotions, everybody's like, everyone kind of like the lunar cycle is just like so powerful, and so we're so intertwined. So I guess like, I don't know. It's like the moon is like this like thing that's like watching us, or like, but also like has
doing everything.
Yeah.
That's funny because you just said I like to facilitate, I like to do things. And then you're like, I'm the moon. Like you relate to the moon. Amazing. For me, if I could be any planet, I would be Neptune. Because it's cold and distant and blue and pretty, and you kind of want to go there, but it's cold and distant. That's what I would be. I don't know if you remember, her name was Amanda Walker. She was in Fernie for a bit. And she was like my best friend during that time. And she's probably going to watch this later on and just laugh hysterically. But she gave me the nickname, the cold black bitter coffee. It was like, you want it, but you don't want it. That's what she used to call me. So I was like, I'm Neptune. This was a fantastic talk. I absolutely love jamming out with you all the time. And I feel like this is something that we can even talk about like next month and stuff. I know you'll have you'll just be finishing your workshop, and I'll just be finishing the second draft of my book. So I know we're going to be vibing hard. And hey, aren't you going to like California or something?
Yeah, I'm going to Atlanta actually.
Oh yeah. Okay, when are you going to do that?
Sorry, what? Like 2 days after Great.
Amazing. Let's do
Yeah.
this chit chat kind of again after we get back because I feel like we're gonna be like
Yeah.
super
No, it's gonna
fantastic. So,
Mhm.
Jay, thank you so much for joining. As always, it's such a pleasure, and thank you so much for getting super nerdy into it with me. I love our chat, and I love how same but opposite we are. Next week, guys, it's just going to be me. And so join in. I'll be going live on radio as well. And then the week after, depending where Jay is in the world, we'll see if she can hop on for a bit or not. Maybe she'll call us from Atlanta. How cool will that be? If you guys took one thing out of this whole entire chat, it would be to practice getting out of a negative thought, which is so much easier said than done. But that would be the one thing is my lesson for the day. So
Be mindful of your
amazing.
thoughts, really.
Mindful. Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you, everybody. You have a wonderful Thursday. And Jess, radio station. So the radio station isn't on like FM or anything. It is a super unique one where we stream live on internet. So it's jessfm.com. You can download the app and take us everywhere. And we're also on YouTube. The idea is to give entrepreneurs like ourselves more of a standing plate without all the fancy radio protocols of stuff. So we are set up completely if you want to check it out. We do have a lovely radio. We do have Just FM TV and everything. It's just an amazing way to give entrepreneurs a chance without fancy protocols, going to school, and we just reach out to worldwide. So it's the reason why I can have Jocelyn here. So that's cool in that. So have a great one, guys. Thank you so much. Ciao.
Bye.